Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this special edition of YBMcast. It is special because today on the broadcast, Mitch, how you doing?
Well,
we have a gentleman we spoke to in the winter, right? Mm-hmm. Out at the hitting zone, Justin Dirden, who is currently playing for the Corpus Christi Hooks, the AA affiliate of the Houston Astros. Justin, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate you taking the time on your day off. I know that you don't get too many of those, so we appreciate you taking the time. Justin, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions because personally, this is something I wasn't aware of. You're from O'Fallon, Missouri. Where'd you go to high school here?
I went to Fort Zumwalt North High School.
What year did you graduate?
I was class of 15.
He was
2015. So it's been a while. Yeah.
So that's who put the end to and the kibosh to Fort Zumwalt East that year in the districts.
Yeah.
I was just it was curious because it was O'Fallon. Justin, my son Justin, went to Fort Zumwalt East High School, okay. And we played you. I think it was that year in districts, wasn't it? Zumwalt North. You guys finished us off against Jackson Mueller, and that was Ben Sugar and all those guys that year in 2015 when he was a junior. So. I evidently saw you play.
A while ago.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
He didn't probably have the beard that he has now.
Yeah, no. I could barely grow hair on my chest that year, so on the face was a no-go.
That's funny.
So yeah, those are things that all of a sudden it's just like, oh. I did see you play. I don't remember because
you're old.
Yeah, that gray hair is sucking my will to live, man. So there you go.
Sorry. Justin's like, he graduated so long ago. I'm thinking, man, I graduated in 98, and I'm like, I'm not sure when you graduated, 30s? 30s, 40s?
He said that, man. 1984.
1984.
It was a good year.
4 years old.
1984.
Who won the World Series in 84?
That would be, hang on, because 85 was...
Do you know Justin Dirden?
Oh, my gosh.
Mr. Justin? No, I don't either.
No shot.
85, wasn't it the Mets?
That was 86.
86, okay.
85 should be local. Right?
Oh, was it? What's the Cardinals? Dang, yeah. Because 82 and 85.
Yeah.
No. That was 87. 87 was the it was the Royals.
All right. Well, sorry. Let's get back on task. Sorry.
It was the Royals.
Sorry, Justin.
I'm sorry, man. He Squirrel. We got to get to this. Squirrel. It was 85. It was the Royals. That was the Dinkinger call. 87, the Cardinals won. Thank you. 84 was the Tigers.
Dole Alexander.
Yep. All right, here we go. Hey, great stuff, man. We're sitting here. This is what a podcast, Mr. Squirrel over here. Tell us a little bit about, your experience from high school. And, as you're looking at your career right now and kind of how it's ascending, did you think of that when you were playing high school ball? What was your thought process when you look back at this now?
High school ball for me was I would say, I wouldn't say easy time or hard time, I guess. I didn't really think that I would get to where I am today, looking back on it now. I've thought about this a few times, but I never even really thought about playing college at that point. I was just kind of playing to play, having some fun with it, and kind of seeing where it would take me to the next point in my life if it ever did. Obviously, it was something I was good at in high school, just like everybody else up at this level. Everyone was good. But did I think it would really get me to where I am today? I didn't really think so, but I'm kind of glad it did. So.
I am too. So I got to know you for a little bit now. I've obviously known your wife for a few years, and then I've actually got to share the baseball field with you a few times, and so I've always appreciated your talents. And so I wasn't quite sure either. Like, this is just fandemonium here. I wasn't quite sure if you had what it takes to get to this level, but obviously your grind has proven that as long as you continue to work hard and keep your mind straight, anything can happen. So this is experiences from your high school. Now talk about that college time too, right? So you went to Eastern Carolina?
SEMO.
Yeah.
First.
You went to SEMO first?
Nope. Coastal Carolina. Eastern Carolina?
No.
ECU.
Yeah. Out of high school, got picked up by East Carolina University with there for a short period of time, and then transferred out to Jeffco for a year, I believe it was, and then spent the majority of time down at Southeast Missouri State University. I think that was probably like a million years with COVID, it seemed like, but yeah, so it was a heck of a journey, the college career was. So, but
Talk to us
anything
a little.
specific?
Go ahead, Justin.
I was just gonna say, I didn't know if you wanted me to talk anything about college specifically, like.
Well, there's an interesting point here. There's a lot of guys that take that journey as you did. They start out at one school, they transfer out, go to a JUCO, and then are back maybe into another university, and that happens a lot. It had to be even more difficult with the COVID years, right?
Yeah, I would say I transferred before COVID really happened. I was at SEMO for probably two to 3 years before COVID actually hit. But I can only imagine during COVID years how much harder it probably could be, honestly, because it was tough on me mentally. I thought my career was done leaving because I never wanted to be the 4.24 guy that transferred out. Never thought I would actually get picked up by another college or school again, and things of that nature. So I could only imagine what it would be like during COVID. Yeah. So
when you left Eastern Carolina and went to Jeffco, did you think with the season that you had at Jeffco, I think you had hit some bombs, 15 or so bombs at Jeffco. Did you think there was an opportunity to get picked up then, or did you have that buzz starting, or did you still need time, or how did you feel?
I think I definitely still needed time. I mean, obviously, it was a good year, but did I think that I was ready for the professional level? Not quite. I still needed some development here. I was still pretty raw as a player, so to speak. So, although with the good year, I was glad I got a little bit more college time under my belt. So
that was probably huge for you to set the tone for SEMO. To get into a little bit of your SEMO career now, it wasn't all easy for you at SEMO, from what I understand, correct? You had a broken hand or something, and you had to spend the entire year on the shelf, and then the senior, I guess what would have been your senior season, your season was cut short because of COVID, correct?
Yeah, so 2019, I had a hamate, or not a hamate, it was a Volger fracture in my thumb right here, swinging over top of a changeup, unfortunately. That piece came off, and then they decided to shut me down for the season. And then just so happened, next season I played, we played 2 or 3 weeks, and then COVID hit. So I was talking with one scout that was with the Cardinals, I believe it was, and he was concerned of how many games I actually played in the past, like X amount of days comparatively from when I hurt myself to COVID. And I didn't realize that would be such a detriment to, possibly getting to the next level. But fortunately for me, I still got the opportunity, but I didn't realize that would be such a negative thing looked upon, I guess. So.
That's an interesting thought. Why did he say that's a negative? It's just not time enough to heal, Justin?
I think it was not necessarily just about the injury itself, but from the injury to COVID, how many games that were under my belt in the span of time from when I hurt myself up until COVID, that I played probably probably 3 or 4 weeks during COVID, and then I think I had maybe a week under my belt whenever I hurt myself in 2019. So there was probably a total of 3 to 5 weeks or so in 2 years that I've completely played baseball. So they didn't really want to take that risk, picking me up from that standpoint. But
That's interesting too, because obviously I guess would have been your sophomore season. You had a solid year there. I guess that would have been your first year at SEMO. And then to start your senior year, I think you were leading most of the major statistical categories at that time. And I think you had maybe 17. I have this information obviously in front of me, but 17 games played. I think you had that year, 9 homers, 26 RBIs or whatever you had. I mean, you would think that if you were a potential prospect to get drafted, that the number of games played over 2 years wouldn't hinder you in that thought process. But GMs and scouts, that's why they get paid. They have to. It's a risk reward kind of thing, and obviously, what Houston did and what you accepted seems to be paying off for you right now.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm never gonna know their decision-making process as we still go through today. Some people get moved around in the org that a lot of guys try and guess about. Like we make fun of each other. This guy's gonna go here, this guy's gonna get optioned down, and it's never what we think it's gonna be. So they got some stuff going on up there that we'll probably never understand. So.
Yeah, we'll leave it up to the trust to make those decisions.
Yeah.
They got all the brains, we have the brawn, right?
Analytics. Does that get frustrating sometimes, as a player? And I don't mean it in a bad, just, from your perspective, and not saying it's bad from either way. It's got to be sometimes a little frustrating. And how do you keep all those things in perspective?
Yeah, it definitely can be frustrating. I try and take a step back and look at it more as the business side if I can sometimes. Understanding that, people up here are getting paid to play rather than it being college and things of that nature. So, like, there's when we were playing in Frisco, obviously they have a lot of first-round picks on their team. And obviously we faced Jack Leiter. Taking that to our org, we have, a lot of high round picks, and they're going to get moved around a lot more than, someone like me. They're going to get pushed up to the top because they got paid and things of that nature. So take a step back and kind of think of it in that aspect. It kind of takes a lot of weight off your shoulders, and just go out there and play. So
what I'm hearing out of you is control what you can control. That's all you are doing in your skill set and in your career for baseball. It's just control.
Exactly. In the simplest terms, that's what it is, 100%.
Yeah, we try to preach that to our high school athletes now, is control what you can control and let the emotions of, senior days and districts and all of these things. You can't control umpires, right? You can't control who puts you in the lineup and what decisions are made on any given day, but you can control your attitude, your effort, the time that you put in. So I think that's important to say, because obviously this is a youth baseball podcast, and so that's good for our youth to know that simply control what you can control. I mean, you're getting paid to play a sport that these kids are trying to fall in love with, and you're sitting here saying, nope, I can only control one thing. I'm an undrafted guy. I'm facing guys in the top 10 rounds that are top 30 prospects in an organization. How can I compete? I can only control what I can do. So obviously you're doing that, but you're making some noises in that organization. So hats off to you for controlling what you can.
Appreciate it.
Justin, as Mitch was saying, we see a lot of high school kids watch the show, things like that. And you talked about your high school. You're looking back now. If you look back down through your experiences, what would you say to kids in your position, that are out there that are playing at a high level in high school, and what to expect?
Like the freshmen coming in, what to expect, or for the next level, what do you?
High school kids, as they're playing right now in high school, whatever, from freshman up to senior, your experiences from high school, how did that shape, the thought process? And I know you said you didn't expect anything. What advice would you give these kids at this point?
At that level, like you said, definitely try and find fun in the game 100%. Because when you get up here, a lot of it can get stripped away in terms of making it more of a business and things of that nature. So whatever you can, if you like bunting for whatever reason, go have fun bunting around or something. If you like diving around in the outfield, go dive around in the outfield or the infield. I would never advise to bunt, but if it's fun for you, go have fun. But
Is that because
yeah,
you can't bunt?
Probably.
I'm sure you can bunt. They just don't.
If I really focus, maybe. But yeah.
So what you're saying?
Definitely just have fun. Yeah, find some fun with it.
So what you're saying is it becomes extremely difficult at each level that you advance, whether it's from youth to high school to college to professional baseball, and in the ranks throughout baseball, it becomes more and more difficult. Is kind of what I'm gathering out of what you're saying, because have fun, because this could be your last ride. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what we try to work with our young kids around here.
Let me ask you this, and I think looking at it from the perspective of a player at this level, when you're talking about having fun, enjoying, there's always that person that says, in the old adage, if you love your job, then you'll never regret, or it won't not be fun, right? If you love what you do, it'll always be fun. But there's always aspects to a job, and this is what it is at this point, that are not fun, correct?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no matter what you're doing, there's always aspects of things that you just don't enjoy about a job.
Yeah.
But then there's playing the game is fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But 100%. What I see in this, and correct me if I'm wrong, the business aspect of it is kind of what turns it into some difficulties and the stress in those respects. If I can just go out and play in the field and do what I do, hey, that's what it's about. But when you're talking about that thought process that says, I have to work, how am I getting to above this guy that was drafted, paid a lot of money? Because, we talk about it, Matt Carpenter, right? Mm-hmm. Why did Matt Carpenter play? Because he had $18 million on his contract.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money.
That's a serious thing. And I know that's harsh to say at times, but it's the reality, is it not, Justin?
Yep, that is 100% the truth. Like they're not gonna not play him, especially whenever he gets to the big leagues. He's already got big league experience. They much prefer him over pulling a guy from AAA up. But if he's got money under his belt, they're gonna play him 100%.
And you're going to be faced with this. I mean, maybe not particularly you, but your organization will be faced with this come June 6th or whatever the draft is, where they're going to be drafting guys in the first round, paying a lot of money for signing bonuses to get them there versus going to college or whatever. And those guys instantly, could bump somebody out at the lower levels at rookie ball or low A or something like that. And where does that guy go? He either gets cut or it's see you later. So it is brutal, to say the least. And so my question to follow up on this is, how do you keep the game fun for you with all of these stresses and stuff that you might have to deal with?
Yeah. That's obviously something, in my short career, I'm still working on, personally. But whether it be one thing that you can go in and work on, for me, it's in the cages. I personally like working on my swing. I like finding little nuances and little details within inside of it. That's what makes this game fun for me. So what I look forward to doing coming to the yard is a better way I like saying it, is I look forward to going in the cages and working mechanically on my swing or on the rhythm and timing of my swing. So whenever I get to the yard, that's the one thing I really like to do. So whenever we have show and goes, it really upsets me because I can't really get in the cages. We might take 2 or 3 swings and then call it a day. So on those days, it's a little tougher for me because I'm not getting what I'm enjoying out of, as I don't want to say I'm not enjoying the other stuff, but in terms of what I enjoy the most, I'm not getting that on that day, if that makes sense. So I would just say find one thing, no matter if it's in the game or if it's in the cages. Find one thing that you like doing it and do it every single day. And that'll make it more fun for you. Find the thing that you enjoy and do that every day. So
I want to ask. Yeah, no, I want to ask this question because I think this is curious. You're playing, obviously AA baseball, Corpus Christi Hooks. What league is that, Justin?
This is the Texas League.
Texas League, okay. Always been the Texas League has always been pretty good too, isn't it? It's
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they've got some good teams and whatnot. I want to ask, when you're talking about coming back down, you look at this because I'm looking at perspective for kids and what they see as listening to you, and when you were back playing baseball and you were in the high school summer, you played a lot of showcase stuff. Is that correct? Did you play for a club?
Yeah. I played, prospect baseball.
Prospect baseball. What's the biggest difference from summer ball like that to going into college and playing at the professional level?
I would say definitely the college stuff is more organized per se. There's more guys helping out with different aspects of the game, I guess, in terms of like weightlifting, in terms of, at least from when I played, I guess. I don't know if it's changed nowadays, but there's there's weightlifting coaches that'll help you, get that aspect of your game up. There's more hitting coaches that help you dive in more detail with your swing and stuff. There's defensive coaches. And at least when I played prospect ball, there was a head coach, an assistant coach. And then, you went and got your swings in the cages. We didn't really work on a whole lot of stuff. We didn't really have early work defensive stuff, things of that nature. So it was really awakening of how much more you can do, at least at that level, if it hasn't changed. I'm not 100% if it has, but getting early work in, whether it's swing and defense and things of that nature, and then working that into the game. So I guess that was a difference.
Would you compare your professional career to your experience with the prospects, or more of a college type preparation?
Definitely more of a college type, 100%. Yeah, it's very similar to what I had at ECU and a little bit more at SEMO, because Coach Ringy down there obviously played for the Rough Riders. He was a professional baseball player, so he kind of took what the professionals did up here in terms of the scheduling, early work, and things of that nature, and brought it into SEMO. But definitely more organized. So I would say college definitely is similar to professional. Yeah.
So you're mentioning Coach Craig Ringy, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So Coach Ringy is now the director of a youth program, a high school program over here with the St. Louis Legacy. He just started that, with Michael Ott over there in Chesterfield, and we actually just did our winter workout tour. And we did a stop there, and I watched Coach Ringy and what he was doing at that level, and we talked about that, and he is bringing that collegiate aspect into the youth program there. So I think that's there you go, because I think that's where a lot of these youth programs are going to develop these kids into that next stage. So that's a great point.
Does structure help you stay focused? And versus like, so, feeling this high school comment to, the college level to now professional baseball, obviously in college it's structured. Having the ability to be a D1 athlete and having the number of available coaches and staff to you is different than what I coached at D3. We might have had strength coaches and stuff like that, nutrition and things like that. But again, our structure was we couldn't have 5 a.m. workouts and then a 6 a.m. defensive meeting and all of these different things that you can have everywhere else. So do you think that structure is what helps you prioritize your time in a day? Because obviously, you got to prepare for the game itself. So you got to mentally prepare, eat right. So does that structure help you focus on those other details before you even get to the part?
Yeah, 100%. I remember freshman year, the first thing at ECU that they told us to do whenever we got in there was make an Excel sheet of when you wake up in the morning at 8 a.m., block it off 30 minutes of time, and then schedule out your day, literally right then in the morning. So get up, eat breakfast, go to classes if you have them, and then right after that would be go to the field, get dressed. They would block it off like that every single 30 minutes. And I think personally that helps me really focus on what you're doing in the present moment. So if right now we have this meeting, it ends, let's say, at 12. So we block that off at 12. And then right after that, I would say go eat lunch or something. So it makes me focus. It gives me time to relax. Okay. And then after that, we have early work at 2:30. So once I get to the field, boom, I'm not thinking about anything else except, okay, now I'm working on this fielding stuff or whatever, or hitting stuff. So it really helps you stay in the present moment and focus on what you need to do right then and there. 100%. Yeah.
Justin, do you think that could be implemented a little bit more at the high school level? Some of these coaches putting some of those things in place, or is it just there's not enough time for high school coaches to really put some of these things in place?
I would say time is probably pretty hard for them. I know, at least, again, my high school experience was so long ago. I don't know how much it's changed, but
it wasn't that long ago, brother.
He's a whopping 23 years old, and he's like,
I love how he goes, it was so long ago. I'm sorry, man. It's
1984. Remember that.
Go ahead.
But, I know that we had like tryouts. Like tryouts would be after school at like 6 p.m. or something like that. We would come in, maybe like 10 minutes pitching in this one lane. We would go over to the cages right next, 10, 12 minutes or something. And it was dark out, so we didn't really get outside much. But there wasn't a schedule to it, pretty much. Like I would go in, maybe throw 10 pitches, and then go hit a little bit. And then I would see this group of like guys talking over in the corner, you know what I mean? Because they didn't have anything to do. So I personally think it would definitely help if they could implement in the schedule. But if it works for them, 100%, yeah.
It manages the chaos of all of that, right? And how do you manage each and everybody's different kind of routines or things that need to be done? And so one of the things I learned at WashU was the structure. And it was literally, if it was a 12-minute session workout or, a fielding spot, it was 12 minutes. As soon as that alarm went off, it was done. You cleaned up your station and you had 3 minutes to clean up until the next one. And everything was done by time. And if you weren't at the next station, you had consequences for those things. And and it's interesting because now I'm a high school coach. I get to see what the GACs do. And I think about things that I don't do well. And this is part of it. The things that I learned in college coaching, I probably could push that envelope a little bit in the high school rankings too, because I don't feel like I would be stressed on trying to figure out what to do with time. What do you do with certain athletes? Where do you put your skills and stuff? So I think that's good because I think that also has to go down to our youth and prioritizing that time too, and saying, okay, you need dedicated days because he already talked about the prospects only having 2 coaches. Right. You can't always rely on just your coaches to get you to the next step. So you have to get into the cage for defensive work and offensive work and stuff like that. So time, value the time. That's for sure.
Well, and I'm gonna say this, and I've said this before, and I think it's apropos in this moment because I'm sure your parents helped you a lot with a lot of these things, and your dad, was part of the workouts and things like that. Am I correct?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just like everybody else's. And I always thought this was I just never did like this statement. I've read the Matheny Manifesto, and that statement, that blanket statement that parents are the problem, always killed me because here we have a situation where you have to rely on your parents a lot to help you through some of these things. How do they help you structure your day? Because you've got this high school student and you're saying the similar thing here. And I think this is true of most kids. How do you learn to structure? How do you put yourself in a place of success? How do you build work habit? How are these things dealt with? I believe there's a lot of great coaches and have influenced kids and whatnot. But in the end, the parents at that point, we're relying on them a lot to put ourselves in that kind of position. Agreed, guys?
Yeah.
You're getting to see it all the time. I would have to agree. It's just sometimes you need to do a little better job as an influencer, right?
Yeah,
That's me.
I mean, I think it's a tough thing because I'm sure your parents are still very, active and supporting what you're doing and talk to you and things of that nature. I would imagine, yeah.
Me, yeah, of course.
So, and I always love it when I saw this, I was watching some baseball. I forget where it was. I forget what team it was. Oh, Baltimore Orioles, the kid that just got called up.
Adley Rutschman?
Yep. He hit a triple, and, Dad's in the stands, and he's overwhelmed, and I think that moment right there, it's a shared, even though they're not close, it's a shared moment, all that work, all that time. And I'm sure those are things that, you think about if you buy mom and dad a ticket to the first game. I think those things are special in that respect in the family. And, your parents saw you growing up playing high school ball and whatnot. And now I'm sitting in a major league stadium. That's kind of a surreal thought process, isn't it?
I can't speak for that, but I was going to ask Justin because obviously he had played low A ball last year and then got promoted to high A ball. Did you have that experience as well? I mean, I know it's not the top of the level, but it is a growth, right? And so, which is going to lead me to another question. But going from low A to high A, what was that like?
It was nerve-wracking, I would say. It was like getting my first start in low A, at the beginning of the year. You got butterflies in your stomach and things of that nature because you want to do good, obviously. But definitely not a major league experience as Adley had, but it was a small step in the block of hopefully getting there.
So like the emotions of coach calling you in the office, or did he call you on the phone? Did you get a text? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so we were playing at Down East, which is Rangers affiliate in low A. I think it was the end of the game. It usually happens at the end of the game. And usually for at least our organization, you don't play the day that you get moved. So there was already kind of that aspect of it. I was coaching first base. And
interesting.
Yeah, I was horrible at it, I'm not going to lie. But
I've
went
seen
into
you
the
coach
locker
first
room.
base.
Have you?
Softball.
Have you really?
Yeah, Tillotton's team.
Yeah. We don't speak about that. But yeah, we went back in the locker room. Coach popped his head out, called my name, and I went in. Everyone was cheering already because we had kind of already figured what was going on. He said, "You're going to Asheville," and emotions were high. I didn't cry, not on that one, but yeah, it was a heck of an experience. It was really cool.
So you didn't cry on that one. So my guess is that you cried when you got the call to go to Double A.
So no, because I actually broke camp at Asheville again. But one of our outfielders here got injured. He's been having back problems. So I wasn't actually expected to come up here. I'm kind of helping out a little bit, but we were also at spring training complex with, Brantley, Altuve. They were all in the weight room. So I had to keep my emotions, inside for that one. So, but not in front of them.
I imagine that had to be one, intimidating, but probably really cool.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was pretty surreal. Obviously, when I didn't even expect it to happen. But obviously, I wish the best for our outfielder that is injured. Hopefully, he gets help soon. But it was pretty cool. Coming up here and seeing this level of play, this quickly is cool. So.
Is it different from A ball to low A, high A to Double A? Is it because I mean they say a lot of Double A guys that this is the move for a lot of these pitchers. So What's it like for that
100%.
experience?
Yeah, pitching wise, I would say the harder stuff, in my opinion, is low A, high A, because those are the younger guys. They throw probably a little bit harder, but they just don't know where it's going. So you'll get 97 black, and then you'll get change up down, change up down. You'll get a curveball over your head. It's just kind of wild. Up here, it's a little bit more formed. You'll get 92, 94, but they know where it's going. So it's more of a pitching aspect. It's easier but harder, if that makes sense. But
Makes sense. Well, I mean, you're taking advantage. You're hitting 315. You got 935 OPS. You got 5 home runs and 28 RBIs. So congrats on that and continued success, man.
So, talk about the start of that season up there real quick, because I obviously pay attention. I care about you a ton as a somebody that knows you and your family, and so it didn't start off so hot, and then I guess the last couple of weeks is that an adjustments that you made, or just now having fun, or what started that, or what changed? Was it a whoop and a blast?
A little bit of those, yeah. But it was similar last year, if I remember correctly, coming out low A. I mean, obviously, last year we didn't have the 2020 season, so it was the first time I've seen pitching in a while. But I started off cold a little bit, warmed up gradually throughout the season. This one is similar, started off cold, got hot a little bit quicker. But I would definitely attribute that to working more on timing and rhythm. Mechanically, at this point, I need to kind of flush it away in terms of what I've been working on. Everything's kind of in the right spot, so I need to stop worrying about it. But just being on time for the fastball and not missing it, and then that'll give me the adjustability for the off-speed pitches is kind of what I'm contributing to the success so far. So, 100%.
Well, keep doing your thing. I'm assuming we're getting close to wrapping this up.
Yeah.
As I can look over at Brian here, and I'm getting those eyeballs. So I do have a couple things I have to say. One, you need oil for your beard. It does look good.
I need to trim it.
But you need oil, and it's got to be a pain playing down there in Corpus Christi with that big beard. But then I got to thinking that there's probably a lot of people with those beards. So my real question is. What was it like to step in the batter's box against Wainwright? I'm assuming you're a homer, right? You're from St. Louis. I assume you're a Cardinals fan. Okay, so Obviously you watched him playing baseball. What was that like getting to be in the big league clubhouse for that opening day of camp, spring training?
Yeah,
and then facing
it was pretty cool. Dusty Baker gave us all a little chat. Said it's okay to be nervous, but don't want you to be scared. So go out there and play. Obviously, he wants us to swing at everything, in the zone as much as possible. But be aggressive. Don't be scared. Don't be timid. But stepping in the box with Wainwright, that was the first time seeing his actual 6'7", 6'8" frame up on the mound. So he looks like he's 7'4". But yeah, he was definitely towering over top of me. And then I got the little kid syndrome inside of me, seeing him play so much that I didn't even swing. Well, I swung, but I swung the wrong pitches. But it was a dream come true, at least from that moment. It was a phenomenal experience. It was crazy.
Did you have that little Carlos Beltran little buckle to in that 06 NLCS game? I watched your at bat, and so I was jacked up for you, hoping that you would, as much as I love Wainwright, I was really hoping that you would barrel it and hit it out, whatever. You didn't work out for you. But no. I think you faced him twice, right? Didn't you have 2 at bats against him?
No, just one.
So your second at bat was against somebody else?
Yeah, I think it was Cabrera, lefty.
Oh, that had to be fun. You grounded out against him, though, right?
Yeah, I hit the ball off him, so
yeah,
so that was lucky.
I figured that Wayno hammer. I was expecting it to be in on your hands, and you led off the game or hit second?
Hit second, I believe. I think it was second.
I couldn't remember, but anyways, I I got some ties, and so I obviously want this kid to do very well. So before I go, congratulations on the announcement, I guess, of a baby girl. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
congratulations. I thought what you guys did together for your videos was pretty cool, and then see your teammates supporting you had to be a pretty awesome feel. So
Yeah.
congratulations to the two of you, you and Abby.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm still kind of just geeking out because I watched Dusty Baker play when I was a kid. And he's in there, he goes, yeah, Dusty was giving us, like,
Well, now, is his son in the organization, or is he in somebody else's organization?
He's with the Nationals, I believe.
The Nationals, and I can remember him getting
'Cause it
JT
was-
Snow grabbing him at
it
the
was
Giants World Series.
Reggie Smith and Rick Monday and Dusty Baker. I'm talking Dodgers, man, back in the day with the 70s. And
Yeah, that's too old for us.
Ron Say and Bill Russell and Steve Garvey.
Yeah,
Davey Lopes. Oh, yeah.
he is
was
wearing
back.
Dodger blue.
I know. That was back in the day. So
I'm telling on
I'm
you.
sorry I couldn't help it, man. When you said Dusty Baker was giving a speech, I'm like, I'd love to have been there for that.
Yeah, had to be cool. Finally, from me, Justin, good luck the rest of this year. I hope you
Yeah.
continue, getting to where you want to achieve, and I obviously continue to be watching your season as it unfolds. So, best of luck to you and your teammates, and stay healthy.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
Justin, the same. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. Very much appreciated, man, really, and continued success.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Justin Dirden, Corpus Christi Hooks, AA affiliate of the Houston Astros. If you want to follow, this is great stuff to do. You can MIB, you can watch the stats. Is there a place you guys have the ball games and whatnot that you have different stuff up?
Yeah, I think you just have to subscribe to MILB.TV. I think that might be the only place you can really get the games. So
Okay, MILB.com, I believe it is, right?
TV.
.com. Okay.
Yeah, MILB.com, and they've probably got the TV there. If you want to catch these guys, go do it. I would suggest it. It's great baseball there. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate you being with us. Remember, all of you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters, what do we say?
Hit him where they ain't.
Hit him with a bang.
Now, he could use the doubles and dingers, because that's
I was
all
going
that
to say
guy
hit more
does.
bombs again. I think I hit more bombs.
We'll take that too, bro. All right, everybody have a great day in the Lord, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Justin.